You got my pillow. This is not my pillow.
Oh, that's not your pillow. I do have your pillow. Wow, how'd that happen? That's weird.
No wonder I felt propped up weird a minute ago. Give me a pillow. You had a pillow. You look so comfy.
Oh. You can have this one, and you can hold it like this so you don't have to show the Elvis if you don't want to.
I don't care.
Okay.
Which one was mine?
The not so drink one. Let's be honest. You gotta turn it this way,
right.
though.
Why?
Because you can't.
Because they're not sponsoring us? They could.
They could. You never know. You're right.
Who wouldn't want to sponsor Mike and Jess?
You're right. Mike and Jess. How did it all begin?
Well, I did the video about me. I guess it's the time to do a video about us.
Yep.
Well, I mean, for me, it started around the time that I moved back from Georgia from living with my dad. I was pretty unhappy there. Came back, basically was slumming it at my friend Mark's house. His mom was cool with all of us living there. There was like 4 of us living there. It was crazy, but it was also really fun. But yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing at the time with my life, and was in a rough spot. And then I met you. Like literally we're slumming it on the floor there, and Mark and Craig go to the store to get some cigarettes, and they come back with some girls' numbers, and we thought they were lying. Like literally, we're like, how did y'all get some numbers? We're losers. Like we don't get numbers. We've been, anyways. But sure enough, they're like, these girls want to meet up with us later at the Dairy Queen parking lot. And we're like, you got to be kidding me. We have to get somebody who has a car. So we don't look like bums.
That's awesome. Just your thought process on the night.
Yeah, we showed up in Nick's truck, I think. And I think that was it. We were waiting on y'all to get there. And then y'all get there. And we figure out, I mean, we find out that they're not lying. It's actually real.
They're real girls.
And then you get out and you're like the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
I worked on my model walk that night actually before in the mirror.
I could tell.
I just worked on the get out of the car.
It was actually just like the opening the door. The car was facing away from me, so as soon as you opened the door and stepped out, I saw you.
You know how many times
and
I've
you just like
practiced that
stepped out, flinged your hair.
I've done it in slow motion too.
Well, it worked. I knew I had to get you. I worked very hard that night to get you away from everybody and stole your keys.
I remember that. Holy cow.
Drove you over to Checkers.
You literally locked me out of my car, like my own car. You locked me out at first. Like you were in the car. I remember being outside of the car and it was locked. Like the doors were locked. And then you unlocked them. You didn't like force me to like knock on the door and get freaked out. But
listen, I didn't know how to flirt with girls. Okay, I might have been 18, but I was still pretty low leveled at the time when it came to talking to girls.
Well, now you're Super Saiyan, so it's cool.
Thank you for that compliment. That actually means a lot to me. You have no idea. I'm wearing my Dragon Ball Z pants and everything.
Well, I guess going back to, my point of view to where before the night we met, because I feel like it was meant to be, just the fact that we were both within weeks of moving to Florida, you moving back to Florida and me moving to Florida for the first time ever. And we had just graduated high school, and then my dad got that job here. It was a better job. And then we came to Florida not knowing like what to do, what to expect. I feel like that was when MySpace was first a thing.
Oh my gosh, MySpace.
Yeah, right? And that's when you like meet people, like when you don't know anybody. Like
I didn't meet anybody on MySpace, but
we were crazy.
I just interact with all my friends.
Yeah, see, and like not know, like I'm thankful that I have my sister, and then we had her friend Jessica, who, well, we were all friends.
You out there meeting dudes on MySpace?
We did. It was we were crazy, like
wow,
silly
all these
girls.
things I never knew about you.
Right? But Jessica, we went to high school with Jessica in Tennessee, and she ended up moving here with her family. And so we had a friend when we moved down here, and that's how we met Craig and you guys, because she was out with her. So that night, I see them coming home, and she's like, we met some guys, we got their numbers, we're about to meet up with them or whatever. And I was like, you guys cannot go by yourself. Are you kidding me right now? You're going to meet them in a parking lot? Like, what? I mean, I guess I'm thankful it was a public place and not somebody's house. Like, if they said it was somebody's house, I'd have been like, no way.
It's not like it was the most well-lit parking lot or, like, the most public of places.
Whatever. It's right there on the busiest road in Orange Park, I feel like. So, I don't
know. It ended up being okay.
Intimidating.
You know, we weren't that bad. You could have met worse dudes.
But I do remember getting ready and being excited, though.
We were all just scared. I mean, Dustin knew how to talk to girls.
Yeah.
Brian had a long-term relationship already at that point with Jennifer. He had been together with her since they were 12.
Yeah.
Nick, I'm pretty sure if he wasn't crushing on a girl at that time, he was a very, like, one girl, like, type of dude.
Yeah.
So if he was crushing on a girl, he was about that girl only.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't, he was a very shy dude too.
Yeah.
He didn't have like a ton of like game. And if he did, I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But he was a sweet guy from what I heard. Like, you know. But,
from your experience, yeah.
And then Mark did not know how to talk to girls at that time.
Yeah.
Craig did, even if he did. I guess Craig kind of did know how to talk to girls.
Yeah. He had to have had some kind of swagger because my sister liked him.
Goofy old Craig.
Dude.
He was just goofy at that time.
Yeah.
And then he grew facial hair and he wasn't as goofy.
That's goofy. I feel like everybody has their moments. I mean, we all did. It's fine.
But yeah. Yeah, and then there was me. I definitely didn't know how to talk to girls, but I ended up talking to you and it worked.
I can't believe how we instantly connected.
Yeah.
At 18.
It was weird because it was almost like we're hanging out now and it was like we're just hanging out and everybody else didn't exist at that point.
Yeah.
And it was like me and you were like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out with you.
Yeah.
Like, you're
Let's
cool.
go get some food at the Checkers.
Yeah, let's ditch everybody.
A big old Buford burger with them good fries.
I miss Big Buford's.
Those were good. For sure.
And the fries were so good. They sold the fries like at the grocery store in the freezer section, but they're not the same.
They're not. They have a special way of cooking them, man.
Special. It's the old grease they use.
It's a nasty old 3-month-old grease that never changed.
I miss that nasty 3-month-old grease.
Isn't that where the Tunis is now? That Checkers? That's so crazy. We literally live in a neighborhood right across the street from where we met.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. There's so much history with me as a kid here, and then meeting you, and a lot of the history I had was negative history. It's like, oh, I got jumped over there. Oh, I got, arrested over there. Oh, this bad thing happened over here. This bad thing happened over here. But then after meeting you, it's so awesome because,
you get to make
I don't know, a lot of people would run away from a town that they had this much trouble in. They have this many bad memories in. And I did for a long time. But then you've helped me, like, change all those bad memories. Now there's so many good memories in this neighborhood that I don't think about any of the bad things.
So beautiful of you to say that. But I do appreciate that we've made new and better memories in this place. Because Tennessee will always be home, I feel like. But you're my home now, you know? But I'm going to cry. Get silly, sappy.
Well, I'm just thankful. Like, I literally got jumped down at the stop sign down there. And now I don't ever think about that. Like, I think about walking the boys to school when they went to school over there. I think about, like...
walking Aaron when he was a puppy.
Yeah, walking Aaron, or just... I don't think about it at all. All the bad things.
New memories. New good stuff.
So
what did you do that night when you went home? Did you call all your friends and just like...
I don't remember what I did that night.
I'm kidding.
But I do remember telling my mom, like, within a couple weeks of meeting you, that I was going to marry you. I just knew already it was something, I don't know, different. I never had a relationship that lasted longer than like 2 weeks up to that point. And I just knew. I was a real sappy dude. I've always been a crier in movies, like always.
I've never met any guy like you. I've never met any guy like you. Because I feel like all through high school, I was like, my dad would like jokingly call me the heartbreaker. Because every time a guy would get close to me, or like a guy would show that he has feelings for me, I would just be like, oh, he's too sensitive, and I'll just back away. I don't even know where that came from either, because I wasn't like, I never got hurt. Like, my parents had a good relationship. I never had a guy hurt me or like anything that would make me put my wall up that I know of. But like, I would always do that. I'd be like, I'd find something wrong with a dude and I'd be like, oh, get away from me.
Yeah.
Stop it. But I never did that with you. I feel like I was always waiting for that moment though. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to do something stupid or something like that. Push you away. And then I think maybe that's why that call happened. But there was no physical thing. Like, I didn't really, like, when I called you to tell you that I need to focus on school and all that stuff, I think I was just wanting to still be young and knowing that, I don't know, maybe subconsciously I knew that this was gonna,
So were you calling to break up with me?
I think so. I think I was calling to say, you know, I'm gonna focus on school to kind of ease into that conversation of we probably shouldn't be in a relationship.
Because I took that call as like, you were talking about all the things that you wanted out of life. And I remember part of it was just like wanting a family and wanting like to stay at home like with your kids early on and everything like that. And I don't know. It was something about the conversation to where I wasn't too sure that I could give you that. And that I could give you any like kind of stability in life or any kind of love. I didn't feel like I was deserving of you at the time, especially every day since the day that I met you up until I hung up on you that night on the phone. I didn't feel like I deserved you, and I feel like I couldn't give you any type of happiness. So when you started telling me all these things you wanted out of life, I'm like, I just panicked. I'm like, she can do so much better than me, and the sooner I end this, the better. So I hung up on you, and we didn't talk for, what, a month?
Yeah, that was crazy.
But I didn't know that you were trying to break up with me, too.
I don't think...
How different would it have been if I let you break up with me? Because
Right.
then it was like you would have the closure.
That's what
but
I'm
I didn't
saying.
give you the closure.
Yeah.
And you're spoiled a little bit.
Whoa, hold up a second. You can't break up with me.
It all makes sense.
I
though.
probably would
I
have,
did
yeah.
such a good thing by hanging up. Wow.
Look at you, game. I don't think that was my
200 IQ
mindset, to
player
be
right
honest
there.
with you, because when you hung up, I was like surprised. I was a little shocked. But the reason I say that could have been why I was starting that conversation is because I didn't call you back. You know what I mean? Like, I
I
didn't.
think I blocked you or something, though.
Like, immediately after?
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty sure.
You're savage.
I just didn't want there to be any way for you to get a hold of me and me to ruin your life, you know?
That's why I say I never met anybody like you. I've never met anybody that thinks like you. It's so good that I have you in my life because it's good to see another perspective of somebody who thinks a different way
But
than
then
I
you,
do.
like, stalked me or something.
I did.
Got back a
Ooh,
hold of
that
me.
was a good night, though. In my head, I'm like, we go to one of these places that we've been to together, and he'll be there. He's gonna be there. And we go to the pool hall that we used to go to all the time. I have pictures of us going as on a double date, Jennifer and Dustin, and then me and you. And then I go with Jennifer, and we see your friend Ashley. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where is he? You know, looking around, and I think it's just her and Craig or something. And she gives me your number. She's like, here it is.
I just get this random call, and I answer, and it's you, and I'm like, I had a different phone already. I had literally gotten a different phone. So when it was her, I was just like, what in the world? But I was so happy to hear your voice. Like, I had drove by your house a few times and just looked.
You did?
and-
I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's so sweet.
It's on the way home, you know? It's definitely not on the way home. It's way out of the way of anything.
It is. That was like an hour to get to your place. I remember that.
But I
freaking
drove
drive.
through because you worked at the Wendy's, and I was just like hoping to maybe see you. And if I saw you, maybe I could like find a way to accidentally cross your path.
Yeah.
And so, didn't happen. But then when you called and I heard your voice, it was just, I don't know. And you had a boyfriend, and you wanted to play with me, but I was okay with it.
I was trying.
You're like, hey, you want to go to Walmart and like get some stuff for New Year's? And then we ended up like going to a New Year's party together
Mm-hmm.
as friends.
Yes, because
But then by the
still-
end of the night, you had decided to break up with your boyfriend and give me a shot again.
Yep.
But you were playing with me that whole night.
I was ridiculous. I was so thankful that you stayed with me. I was crazy, man. I was
No,
crazy.
we're both. Everybody got their issues, but
Yeah.
then
I was
ever
young
since the day I
and
met you, you've like
I've been impulsive and back
No.
and forth.
like your grandparents said it. Like you have this spark, and it's just so nice to be around you. So nice to know you, and I don't know. We all have our flaws, but
Yeah, we definitely do. We definitely have my flaws, plenty of them. But yeah, I just think that it just goes to show how much to be we were. Like, I couldn't imagine my life without you. I really couldn't. Like this life that we built, these beautiful children, and
So, I know. It's amazing. I'm super thankful for it.
so from that day forward, we were inseparable, though.
Yeah,
I
we
feel
were
like-
literally best friends, and also madly in love with each other.
Yeah, at such a young age, it's so trippy.
Yeah, we met at 18, literally just a few weeks after we both turned 18, because we're both born in September.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 11th, and she's the 23rd.
Yep.
And so we met just like a few days, like right around September, like the beginning of September, the end of August,
Yeah,
right?
because it was right after I graduated. So I graduated in, well, no, not right after I graduated. It was probably more towards the summer.
No, we met after our birthdays. What am I talking about? We met after our birthdays.
We didn't. Okay, so I graduated
We
high
met
school.
like in
summer
the
went,
end of September.
Yeah, yeah.
October is when we met.
Yeah, yeah. September is when we
October.
moved to Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we met in like October probably.
Yeah, it was 2007 October. No, 2005. Sorry.
I was
Not
about to
2000
say,
we got
we got
married in
married in
2007. I'm so
But
confused. on my
October
dates.
2005,
Mm-hmm.
and then we didn't speak for a month,
Yeah.
and then come that New Year's,
Right, because it's
we
holidays.
started dating again.
Yeah.
So basically, New Year's of 2006 is when we've been like inseparable.
Yeah. Together.
And a few months after that, we sometime after that, because we got married in 2007. So
Yeah, everything went pretty quick.
May 2007, we're getting married.
Yeah.
So from the beginning of 2006
Yeah.
to May 2007, we
Middle of
were just
2007.
lovebirds. We couldn't, like, I don't know. I used to fall asleep on the phone with you.
I remember those conversations where I'm like, "Are you
Oh
awake?"
my gosh.
And I hear you like sleeping, and we just wouldn't hang up the phone. Those are nice. That was ridiculous.
I used to wake up in the middle of the night. I remember a couple of times and just seeing, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, the phone is next to me and she's not there. Like, oh my God, I got to call her back and apologize. Like at 3 a.m., you're like, hello?
What
I'm
are
like,
you
I'm
doing?
so sorry for falling asleep on you. I didn't mean to.
So wonderful.
But then my dad had moved back to Georgia, where he was born and raised.
On the playground. He
And
spent most of his days.
from the time I left and met you and fallen in love with you and everything like that, to the time where he came back to visit, he had met his former ex-wife that he had fallen in love with. He was like 18.
Yeah.
They had gotten married when they were 19, and just childhood sweethearts and everything. They ended up getting a divorce, and he ended up going about his life, meeting my mom, having me, and going through all kind of crazy stuff. But anyways, he comes back to visit, or we go to...
I think we went to go visit him.
They
I think
came
it was
in to
like a-
visit, and we went to like the flea market and everything with them, and then we went to visit them. Though.
Yeah, we went to stay with them.
We went to them, and they were just telling us stories about how they met when they were young and all. I don't know, how they were star-crossed lovers and soulmates and all of this stuff, and we were just looking at each other the whole time through these stories. I remember.
And we just knew. I feel like that weekend we just knew. Like when we were driving back, when they were taking us back, we're like, we're gonna do this.
I think I was just like, I want to marry you. Like, I know that I want to marry you.
It's such a crazy feeling to have that when you're 19.
This is nasty when it gets, like, not cold. It is so nasty. It's one of the worst tasting beers I've ever had.
He said,
God, it's nasty.
it's the greatest face I've ever seen you make.
Really?
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing face.
God, it made my eyes hurt.
So all the things that, okay, so after we came back from Georgia, that trip with your mom, or with your dad and Deborah.
We're just hanging out a lot. I was moving a lot. And then I was living at my sister's, with my sister and Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And sometime before that, my mom had given me the ring that she was married to my dad with. She kept the ring after they divorced. And she had given me this ring because I had expressed so many times that I wanted to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, like, remember, like, leaving the ring out or something, like, trying to make you find it. So I didn't know how to go about it. It was so, I mean, looking back, I wish I would have done it differently. But you ended up finding the ring laying out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you look up at me, and I was just like, we made eye contact. I don't know, we had talked about it so much.
Right.
It was almost like it had already been agreed upon. It was almost like I had already asked you months before that in the car riding. And this was just like, hey, I have a ring.
Yeah.
It's official now.
Yeah.
I'm just like letting you
wear,
know.
Girl.
But you found it and you just looked at me and I don't know. It was a special moment.
It was a special moment. You say that you regret it, but it was
I
pretty
just
special.
wish I would have like made a billboard or like rented a plane or like skydived and landed in front of you with a parachute or something. I don't even know, dude.
You would have just wasted money that you could be spending on me.
True. It was an expensive girlfriend, that's for sure.
Stop it. I never asked you for nothing.
It's like, hey, what's your advice for, like, you know, you and Jess have been together for a while. It's like, oh, you're just starting out and you're dating? Oh, get another job.
Rude.
Get 2 jobs. Because you're going to need it. Unless you have a hefty bank account.
Yeah, you ain't gonna make it.
You go out to the pool hall, she's going to want cheese sticks, some fries, some chicken wings, a couple sodas.
So you're telling them to have an allowance for the girl to eat food?
She's not even going to want to eat all of it. She just wants it to be there for, like, the setting.
Just in case, yeah.
Just the vibe.
Oh.
Like, there's only 1 cheese stick left. You order another?
It's mine. It's mine. First of all, it's mine. If there's one left, it's mine.
But no, I mean, and then, you know, you had the ring.
And then came that.
And yeah, I had to ask your parents.
A crazy night. It was wonderful though, but yeah. Because I was like, you gotta ask my dad. Like, we did this together, but you gotta ask my dad.
And I knew that was coming. Totally knew that was coming. I was like so scared of your dad. Your dad's such a nice guy, so friendly and everything, but as your boyfriend, I was still very scared of him. Your mom was pretty awesome. I loved your mom.
Yeah.
We had some really cool conversations at that point, and we clicked. Me and your dad hadn't really had much conversations.
Yeah.
We were cool, but I was scared of him.
Yeah.
And so we went out to La Nopalera, our favorite
Our place.
Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, that's our place. Man.
It's our jam.
Yeah.
And I waited so long. I was so scared. I waited till the bill came. I waited till, like, the bill. I waited till everything. We were, like, to-go boxes ready to walk out. And we're, like, still sitting there. She's, like, kicking me.
Do it now.
And I'm like, oh, my gosh. And it just, I finally did it. I'm like, so. I don't even know what I said, dude. I'm so scared.
I really don't even remember.
So scared. But your dad was like, you know, as long as you have a plan. And I really, you know, I had a loose plan, but I really didn't. You know? I'm sure he knew that.
He knew.
He knew that, but he was just like, you know, yes, kind of.
with conditions.
Yes, with conditions.
And then my mom was a different story.
Oh
my
gosh,
dad
dude.
was like, you need to, take care of her. So you need to have a game plan. And Mom was like, when are we doing this? Let's pull the calendar out. So we get home that night. She's got the calendar out, marking dates. And we can't do it this time. We can do it on this time. We got to like look back at our pictures and figure out what night that was, because we got to figure out from what date that was to the day we actually got married and how quick that was. That would be interesting to know.
Yeah, that would be. But I remember my plan at that time was to move up to Georgia and get a job at the chicken factory that he was working at the time.
Oh.
It was a terrible job. Oh my gosh. I had horror stories from that place. I had worked a lot of hard construction jobs at that point, and it wasn't the hardest job, but just the environment was just, oh man. I see why people become vegetarians.
Yeah.
You see some stuff, and
I never wanted you to tell me stuff. Never wanted you to tell me stories. Especially when we would talk on the phone. You could tell.
I was like, listen, that plan I had ain't gonna work. We gotta figure a new plan out. Don't tell your dad.
Don't tell your dad. But I need you to come here. Come here now.
Yeah, she had to come up like a week or two or whatever before the wedding and kind of help me calm down and figure things out.
Yep.
Got everything. Got married. It ended up being such a special day.
Yeah, it was really awesome. We made our own cupcakes.
So many of your family showed up and just made it so much.
That was such a good surprise. Yeah, a lot of my family showed up, and
a lot of my family showed up too. But
it was really meaningful to me because we had your Benji granny there, your dad was there, your sister was there, and my cousin Mandy was there with her kids, and
a lot of people that aren't with us anymore.
Yeah, just were there. Really special that they got to be there. It was really awesome, just for how quick it was, and just made it so much more meaningful. Because looking back, when I was like after the wedding, like, oh, I wish I would have done this. Because then Pinterest comes out, and you're like, oh my gosh, I could have done this and this and this, and I'm like,
it was before Pinterest, so we had to just do our own thing.
We did. It was beautiful. Special because it was
your
like
brother played the guitar.
That was my favorite part. My brother played the guitar for me walking down the aisle, and that was the most special thing ever. Because my brother, a freaking young kid, he's still in high school.
That's what makes me feel old, looking at people and pictures from that day.
Mm-hmm.
Like my younger sisters, Kaylee and KB. Looking at them.
They're babies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because they were our flower girls. Your sisters were, right?
Can't remember, dude. Can't remember.
I think they were our flower girls. But yeah, that was just, it's so crazy. It's such a crazy day. Everybody was so young. Everybody was babies.
Just terrible hunk of junk car.
Oh, that was lovely though.
It was a nice car.
That's a
Your
good
uncle
story
put his
though.
Butt cheeks on it with the.
No, he didn't put his
butt He pretended
cheeks.
to.
He looked like he put his butt cheeks on the window, which was awesome. We had the Just Married on there. But that car was, you put a lot of work into cleaning that car for us, and that made it so much more special. But that thing was so funny. Like, we used to call it the boat, right? Because
it held water in the doors.
It did.
When it rained, and you could hear it when you're turning and stuff.
Sloshing around. Yeah, every time you stop and stop at a light. Like, I remember going on a freaking Doctor's Inlet and going over the railroad tracks, and when I went to go turn, the door literally swung open because it was so heavy from water. It was like, but I was going so slow, it wasn't that big a deal. I just shut it, but
oh my god,
it was so trippy. That door was so heavy from the water.
Run back up to your car. It's okay. This is normal.
It's fine. Just get some duct tape. Go.
Oh my gosh, from my elbow. It's bleeding.
It's bleeding.
But yeah, it was rough at first. We, we roommated for our first few years.
Mm-hmm.
Did the
definitely.
Roommate thing, so we really didn't have a whole lot of privacy as newlyweds.
Yeah.
Which was,
that was hard.
It was hard. Those days were definitely enjoyable, but compared to now, having our own place,
I definitely
oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. Really,
I can't. Yeah, I can't go back. But living with your sister and your brother at first, that was kind of nice because they had their end of the house and we had our end of the house, which was good. Yeah. So we did have a little bit of privacy.
It was always cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, looking back compared to now, it was a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Because I never want to do roommates ever again.
Never again.
My kids are, hard to deal with as is.
Yeah,
God dang.
they're like little roommates. Jeez.
Seriously. Jeez.
Little wonderful, wonderful roommates. We love you. But yeah, having your own space is way, way better. After all that we went through too, because we freaking roommated with them. I feel like we were always moving. We were just house
Christina
to
and
house.
Casey.
Yep.
Lived with your parents for a bit again.
Yep.
Um,
And then Chris and Amanda.
yeah, it was a lot of roommating those first couple of years.
Yep.
Seriously. And then we finally decided to have Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
We were in like a really rough part of our relationship.
We were.
And we actually were like contemplating not even doing it anymore. And then I don't know, we had a really, I don't know. I had to do a lot of thinking, and that whole entire situation just like changed me as a husband. And I feel like I'm a lot more forgiving and a lot more compassionate and a lot more understanding. And I realized without those things in a relationship, it's never gonna work.
Mm-mm.
Like if I continue to look at these things like the way that I am now, any kind of bump in the road, it's just gonna, it's over.
Yeah.
So I really had to take a look, and I'm really glad that we went through the tribulations that we did, because we came through it so much stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I came through it stronger just as an individual,
Yeah.
but as a couple.
We definitely did. I feel like growing up, I was like, don't show your flaws. Don't show your flaws. Be perfect. Be perfect. Be perfect. For some reason, that's just how I grew up. So I never thought that I was going to be that person who would make these mistakes or be a flawed person. And then going through what we went through, it showed me that I am vulnerable to certain things, and
We all are.
we definitely are. And it made, like, especially knowing you and going through those things, it definitely changed me as a person in my thought process on how to forgive others and just look at somebody else as the same as you. Like, you're both going to go through those things. There's nothing, we're not all like perfect at all. So I don't know, it was just different to be humbled, I guess, by that experience. And because when I grew up, I was like, I'm never going to do this, I'm never going to do that. And then going through certain things that you didn't think that you would go through, it's definitely a humbling experience, and it changes you as a person. Whether you realize it or not, you start thinking differently. And definitely knowing you and experiencing how the way that you see the world definitely changed me, I feel like, for the better, because I see things that I didn't see before.
Well, I look at the world the way that I do now because of the life experiences that I've had before meeting you, but then like a lot to do with after meeting you. You gave me this, so thank you.
I love you. I do. I appreciate
me
you.
too.
I appreciate this. This is really nice.
That brought us really close together though, and we decided to try to have Nathan. And man, I just remember him being born, and just that was a special moment. That was a really special moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole like first year, every little tiny step that he made, progress as an individual, all the way until his first birthday, where he's like running around at that point. He was already walking, and he's like running from person to person and just getting into stuff.
Thing.
And then Jackson,
Yeah.
she pranks me, like calls me at work a week before actually
Awful.
being pregnant, calls me and pranks me.
You
And
know what I was
then
thinking.
I'm like freaked out, because as good as the first year was with Nathan, it's like it's really new and it's really scary, and you're like, whew, it's starting to get good now.
Mm-hmm.
He's running around, he's self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Whew, I don't want to do that again like right away.
Yeah.
And then she calls me back a week later after pranking me, and I mean, my heart dropped when you pranked me. I was
Never
just
again
like,
will I do that.
oh my
ever,
gosh.
First of all.
I was like, oh my gosh, like, what are we gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm working so hard and we're just barely making ends meet right now.
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do? And then a week later, you really were.
Yeah. And then all those feelings came back, because you get like that
But it was
second.
almost like it was easier because I think I almost remember like talking. I'm like, dude, we would have made it work.
Yeah,
We would've
going
made
through
it work.
this. Yeah.
So then when you really were, I was just like, oh my gosh, dude, like it actually we can make this work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I was terrified. Like I was way more scared when the whole lead up to Jackson coming and like dealing with that, having to worry about 2 at that point.
Yeah.
It was very stressful, but it was the same thing. I mean, every type of progress that kid made, and his smile.
Dude.
Oh
that
my
kid.
gosh, that kid
I
smile
feel like
from
he
a
came
baby.
out smiling. Yeah.
Yeah, he came out smiling, man. Like his smile, he's got your spark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He came out with your spark, and Nathan has more of me. Jackson has more of you.
Mm-hmm.
But that really helped a lot. Jackson having your spark and just
You
that
saying
infectiousness.
Oh, that makes me feel like more complete in the way that I think, because Nathan is more of a realist. So Nathan is very good at pointing out stuff and seeing the truth in it, or seeing the realness of it. And
Yeah.
then Jackson is just like me, this little idealistic.
He wants to see the
love
best
it.
in everyone
Yeah.
and everything and
Yeah.
everything.
No matter what.
No
even
matter
if
what.
Even if the facts are right in front of him, he's gonna see something different.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack. Sorry, but
it's
not
a
sorry.
good way to be with a lot of things. That's why we're like, you're my missing puzzle piece. So
Yeah.
I wasn't that way at all with growing up, and that's what I was missing, and that's what you gave me.
Yeah.
And that's what he has. Sorry.
Goodness.
Tickle in my throat. But that's what both of y'all have.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like having Nathan and it being so new, and just, I don't really think that I ever thought about being a mom, but I just knew that that was where my life was going, just because growing up with my parents getting married so young, and that was just like what my mom did after high school. She got married and she had kids, you know what I mean? So I just feel like that was my life. I didn't really have a thought process of going to school and doing this. It was get married and
Well,
have
you tried
kids, but
school.
I did.
Tried school. It
yeah,
didn't work
I was
out.
in for a couple of semesters, and then we
And as
found out we
smart
were
as you
pregnant.
were, it just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because when I tried school too, you were helping me with my classes. It was a breeze to you. Like you were so
Much more
smart.
breeze, but
School's not for everybody. But it didn't work out. And yeah, Jackson came.
and I feel like that.
You tried school before we even had kids. But
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, and then that was right when I was pregnant with Nathan. Was when I stopped. Because I remember eating a bowl of cereal and watching him move in my stomach for the first time, and I was on my laptop doing a class, and then I just like stopped. I always have like a bad feeling about school. Like every time I just have this like gut wrenching thing, but it could have been just me thinking about a different
you were
way.
working at Texas Roadhouse at that time too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, I don't know what it was. You were young.
Yeah.
Maybe you just weren't in the right mindset.
Yeah.
But school's not for everybody
No.
at the same time.
I feel like after we had Jackson, it was a lot more, I don't want to say easier, but we were a little bit more prepared. So like I felt more complete after Jackson, because I feel like we were taking the steps to do the things right. Like I feel like with Nathan, we were so new at it. We had so many questions.
And when we had kids, we had our own places.
Yeah.
Like ever since we had Nathan, that was when we moved into our own places from then on.
Yeah.
And we didn't live with anybody. We did live with your parents for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
When we went in between places.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, ever since we've had kids, and through that whole time, like we didn't live with your parents until Jackson was like 2.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first like year, 2, 3 years, whatever with Nathan, and the first 2 years with Jackson,
We had the opportunity.
it was
to
just
figure it
nice.
out.
I mean, we were doing our own thing.
Mhm.
It was nowhere near as hard as I thought it was going to be. It was
Yeah.
actually really nice. Nathan was such a good big brother.
Mhm.
He was so helpful.
He was. They're both good babies. They're both.
Yeah,
super-
Jackson was easy compared to Nathan, though, dude. He used to like sleep through the night and stuff.
Yeah, that was trippy.
Early on,
And that used to make me wake
he was
up
just
super
like
early,
really easy.
just to check if he was breathing.
Then he would wake up and just smile at you.
Yeah, and just talk to himself in his crib for about 30 minutes.
That was really nice.
That was. listening to him coo.
But yeah, I mean, then we, we lived in Tennessee with your brother for a little bit, and then we moved back to, we tried to move to Tennessee, so we were like living with him, trying to find a place. Realized it just wasn't going to work up there.
Yeah.
So we moved back to Jacksonville, and moved into that apartment. Well, we lived with my brother for like a month, too.
I feel like
it's like we lived with those people just to get into another place. So
Yeah.
it's like we're moving back. So it was like a little waiting period until we got into our place. So
I feel like right after Jackson was born and we had to leave for the Keys, go move in with your mom, and then we moved in with my brother. I feel like those points we were getting a little bit more separated from each other, like emotionally. And it was because we wanted two different things. Like you were very much wanted to be home and be with family, and I was very much wanting to be out more. And I don't like that I was like that.
I definitely always had, with all the trouble that I had growing up, especially with just dealing with school and social interaction with other people and getting into trouble, meeting those kids that sent me down that path. And then I became that kid. I just knew that I wanted to give homeschooling a try. And then once we gave it a try, I homeschooled Nathan for the first year in kindergarten to first grade. And I loved it, and he did so well. Like, I don't know, I've just been that, my mindset has been like, we had kids early, and our life is probably going to play out to where, like, all the friend interaction, like couple friends and going out to bars and not bars, but going out, all the time, having fun like that on that level, because we still have fun. But going out and having fun like that,
on an adult
I feel
level,
like is going to have to come a little bit later. Because we do have a very important responsibility. And I do feel like my parents might have done that a little too much during the important years of my life. And I just want to make sure that they have the best foundation that they can have, you know?
I feel like they did with you, and that's why, like, I was bringing that up, is because, like, with me, that's why we were so emotionally distant from each other, because we wanted two different things. I was going down a path that I definitely did not want to be going down, especially me sitting here today. I didn't want to be going down that path. Like, the boys were so young. I remember being with them, but being super quick to just want to leave the house and make plans with adults and stuff like that. But, like, when we moved back to Florida with your brother, I feel like you pulled towards me. Like, you found all these ways for us to do things together.
Yeah, that's something that really helped, is like realizing that you can't just want to be closer. You're going to have to find ways to be closer, and you're going to have to find common interests. You can't, I mean, some people may find it works, and this is just what I found works for us. But in our relationship, I realized that we really didn't have a whole lot of stuff to talk about ever.
Right.
We really didn't have a whole lot of stuff to have, even if we sat there and wanted to have a meaningful conversation at that point in our lives. At that point, we were doing such different things that we really didn't have anything to vibe on. We really didn't have anything to talk about. And so I was like, we need to start watching more movies together. We need to, I was into some audiobooks. I was starting to get more and more into audiobooks. I was like, let's get into an audiobook series together, you know? And that's one thing that really brought us close together.
That did, because we were talking about
the Divergent series, and just listening to them while I was at work and she's at home. And we would talk about them, and that's something that just like really taught us, like, okay, this is what we were missing. Like, we need to always make sure that we're doing something and both experiencing similar things enough to where when we come together, we can talk about things and just have similar. And now we've gotten to the point to where we freak the boys out. Like, we're finishing each other's sentences. And they'll be hanging out with her for a couple hours, and they'll ask her a question or something, and her response will be like this exact sentence, this exact phrasing, and then they'll ask me the same thing later, and I'll have the exact same answer, the exact same wording. Like, I don't know. We're almost too similar now. We hang out too much and we do too much together.
Too much together.
But
Get away.
I enjoy it.
I do. I wouldn't change our life for anything. This is not a usual situation, but I adore every second of it.
Oh my gosh. Right now, it's like I couldn't be more thankful. Like, I grew up as a gamer and everything. That was my, like, an escape from things. But as I got older, it actually became, like, once multiplayer games came out, it actually became a way to find friends and still have that adult interaction without having to leave the house, you know? And I can still, like, one of my best friends, Brian,
Yep.
we've met him. He's come here. He's actually been to my house before. We went out to eat with him. And, you know, he's one of my best friends.
Yep.
And
Met him through online gaming.
online gaming, like 10, 11 years ago now.
Yeah.
And then, like, you got into gaming all of a sudden. And, you know, you never gamed with me for years and years of our marriage.
Yep.
And I progressed into, like, the PC gaming. Once I got into streaming and stuff like that, we ended up getting the PC to help with streaming. But you end up also being able to game from it. So I also, like, started PC gaming. And when I upgraded, Jessica got my other one and she tried out, I think you actually started mobile gaming. You were, like, getting into mobile gaming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, you know, I've got this other PC. You want to try, like, this game we just started playing? It's Realm Royale. And man, she fell in love.
Oh, I adore that game. It's so cool. I love it. I could play it all the time. I really do. I could say I'm addicted to it.
I never thought that Jess would be into gaming with me.
Yeah.
But the fact that we can sit down and, like, have that type of interaction with each other is so crazy to me. Where we started, and then where we were, and then where we are now. And then, like, you even got into Destiny with me for a little bit.
That
Like, I
was
was
fun.
like, please, as much, like, fun as Realm is and everything like that, please try another
Play a
game with
different
me.
game.
Like, try any game. We could just try a couple games. And we tried Destiny and tried, like, Call of Duty, and she was like, out of all of them, I like Destiny. I don't even really like it. But then after a week or two, she was playing it. She started liking it.
Definitely.
And then we ended up doing a raid with the boys. And it's like, man, raids are these crazy cooperative experiences that can take hours. And you have to kill enemies and stuff like that. But you also have to solve puzzles. And you have to cooperate with your 6 teammates.
Yeah.
So it was all 4 of us with these 2 other, like, awesome dudes that we found to walk us through this raid that was so complicated.
Yeah.
The first, like, puzzle part of it, Jackson was so defeated. He was crying, had to come out of his room, had to give him a pep talk.
Yeah.
But then we ended up completing that first part. We all came out together and were, like, jumping up and down, celebrating.
That was such a good feeling. That was our family in a moment for
Oh my
sure. All the
gosh.
things that we've been through, like that was
We'll
so
remember
cool.
that for the rest of our
Yeah,
lives.
that was a wonderful memory. That was really cool.
Those were special. The moments that we've had, like, gaming together are so special, and I cherish them so much because we've spent so many moments at the beach doing so many fun things. We've done we went to skate station, done that. I've taught the boys how to skateboard. We've done that.
Ride bikes.
Ride bikes all around. We do, like, so many fun things. Been on, like, hiking trails. And the bonding and fun, like, experience that we had in those gaming moments too, man, they stand out just as I mean, we've played, like, Monopoly. We played Phasmophobia was a fun one.
Oh gosh. Yeah, sure. That was fun. Screaming my head off. I didn't even want to leave the van.
But all
terrifying.
of the same way that, like, we made this experience, like, our relationship, we made it what it is. We're like, hey, we realized we don't have anything in common anymore. Let's get some things in common. And now we have the same relationship with our kids as we do ourselves. Like, it's different, obviously, but, like, we're all each other's best friends because we're all into Marvel. We're all into, like, the Loki series right now.
Oh, gosh,
and we're
yeah.
all into the same video games. Well, I mean, except Fortnite.
But not only that, we're making choices every day to spend time together as a family.
Exactly.
And that's more than anything that we could ever ask for as a family unit and as a couple. Like, that's why we did this. That's why we're doing this, going down this journey, because this is where we want to be. This is going to help us get there and maybe show the world some positive things while we're at it. Like,
that's all it is. Just rubbing off. I mean, it's good to have positive influences in your life, and that's all we want to be. It's just your guys' friends and some positive influences.
Yeah.
You know?
And be able to be together as a family. Doing
Exactly.
it in the process.
We do this fun stuff already. You know, we might as well put a camera on it and rub off on, you know, positively on some people.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah. Spread it to the world.
Well, thanks for having this chat with me, Jess.
I appreciate this chat. My whole heart.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Me too. It was nice going down memory lane with you. Figuring out how we got here.
Yep. So, hopefully you stick around, because there's a lot more to come.
Thanks for being a part of it, you guys. It was nice to share it with you.
Yeah, it was. All right, bye.
Bye.